Dude, I'm trying to get head like that.
Yeah,
man.
for real, dude. I do like the development from Leon in this game into 4 as well. That's one aspect I really enjoy about both the games is you see, like, he just looks so different here.
Oh, yeah, like, so...
And then in 4, his eyes are, like, sunken in. He's, like, tired, like, probably from the trauma he experienced in this game. And it's just, I think that's a really cool development of his character, you know?
Well, like, I did a retrospective forever ago. And, yeah, like, he becomes so much more jaded.
Shit.
Oh, how's it going?
Shit. Well...
Are we dead? No.
No.
Yeah, he becomes so much more jaded by the time 4 rolls around, where, like... But Ada being in 4, like, Ada being in this game is great because it makes him realize just how much he doesn't know and how naive he is. And it feels like that's her job as a character towards Leon. But...
Yeah.
It, like, undermines his character development towards 4, the fact that she's in the game, and kind of, like, fucks him over again, but he's, like, kind of bringing her to, like, being on the lighter side of things.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I feel like their character interaction is so interesting.
And that's, like, the thing I really enjoy about, like, Resident Evil 6 in particular. Is the character moments that you get, like Chris and Leon together. I actually liked the story that we got with Chris and like how, like, after what happened in Resident Evil 5 with Jill, you know, like he's basically been like drinking himself down the gutter and
Chris has been?
Yeah, in Resident Evil 6. Like there's some cheesy moments, don't get me wrong, in Resident Evil 6 and like over the top Michael Bay type shit, which I was just kind of like, whatever. But the moments we did get of like character moments, I thought they were pretty good, actually. Like Leon and Chris meeting each other for the first time. The thing I thought Resident Evil 6 did really well is there's all of their characters have their own campaigns, right? Leon, Chris, and then Jake, which Jake's campaign was whatever. And then Ada had a secret campaign, but it was like Leon and Chris, right? If you play Leon's campaign first, there's a moment where Leon's trying to do a certain thing for his campaign, and he runs into Chris. And because of the circumstances, he thinks Chris is the enemy. So they're sitting there, and it's the first time they've ever met. They've never met each other face to face until that moment, which is why I'm telling you, 6 actually is underrated. And then you, like, the dialogue they have, you see it from Leon's perspective. So you're like, what the fuck are you doing, Chris? And then you play it from Chris's perspective, and then you realize, like, oh shit, like, I get why Chris is doing this. Now Leon looks like the bad guy, and you have to play both their campaigns to see their perspective on, like, why they had that confrontation, and it was really good, dude. Like, I actually really liked it.
The thing I really appreciate about Resident Evil is the women. Not just because they're all hot. They are all fine. Mm-hmm. Every one of them perfectly acceptable. Wood pipe, 10 out of 10.
I think I know where you're going with this.
But it's that they're so capable of not just like in general, but like when they're well written. They're actually fleshed out characters, but they're capable, competent, and like, it's just an example of strongly written female characters that doesn't do a job to undermine, like, any of the other cast. They're just, like, badass chicks that fucking get the job done. And guess what? Every fucking dude likes them.
Yeah, and I think another thing, too, is that the way those characters are written, they're not written like they get, like, special treatment or they're, like, a handicap to the player in any way because they're a woman. It's like they go through the same trials and tribulations as the male characters do in the games. And that's why by the time you get to the later games, like when you see Claire again or you see Jill again, you're like, Jill's a fucking badass. Like, fucking
straight.
Like, yeah, that's how I feel about the characters. And it's because I know what those characters had to go through. And like even playing this game as Claire, dude, I was just like, dude, by the end of the game, I was like, Claire's a fucking badass, dude. Like, I fucking love Claire.
Would I fuck each and every one of them? Yes.
But they're also not cringy characters either. Like, playing as Claire in this game, like, I did not feel like her writing was cringy at all. Like, I felt like she was very justified in, like, her actions and what she said. And like, I don't know. I just think, yeah, I'm with you. The Resident Evil female characters that's how a female character should be. 100%.
What does pester me?
Which one is this? This the horse or the...
Is Ashley. And that's just in original Resident
Oh
Evil
yeah,
4.
but she's so much better in the remake.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, after you played it on the channel, all I could hear is Leon. I was just like, oh my
God,
gosh,
dude, I know.
shut the fuck up.
I know, dude.
What does she say? I don't know if she says this in the remake or the original. I was like, oh yeah, like maybe I could be your partner or whatever. Like, bitch, I had to carry you through this whole game.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know.
Me, Leon.
I don't.
That was the thing I said about the remake, though. I was like, I felt like Ashley was somewhat capable in the remake. Like, she doesn't do shit in the original game. Like, she is so
Cannot
fucking damsel
wipe
in
her own
distress,
ass.
dude. Literally. So, like, the sections where you get to play as Ashley in the remake, I was like, oh, damn. Like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know if the what's it called?
Yeah.
Silent Hill has like slots. Do you have slots in Silent Hill
What do you mean?
for like inventory?
No, you just kind of pick up whatever you can pick up. There is no, like, inventory thing.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I could be wrong about that.
I think you're right. I'm just glad it didn't like 1-for-1 copy. Is Silent Hill also Capcom?
No, that's Konami.
Oh, Konami. There is a really shitty survival horror that we could play.
Which one is it?
We played it very briefly, and you were not having it.
What was it?
It was Deadly Premonition. I know you.
We played that?
We played a little bit, yes.
Oh, I do remember that game. I thought that game was fucking... I forgot about that game until you just brought it up.
Oh, God, I'm trying to remember what he says in the beginning of the game.
That game was fucking crazy, dude.
He's like, yeah, well, of course, like, she could have her own opinion, but it's completely wrong. Dude, that game is so funny for, like, it's like clunky, charming funny.
Dude, you know another survival horror game that I'm like...
Dino Crisis, I already knew it.
No, it's not Dino Crisis, but yes, that game's goated. That game is fucking sick. I want them to remake that so bad, but... No, a survival horror game that I want to find for my retro collection, it's just, I think it's really hard to find. That might be like one that's like I'd like put money into. Is a game called Cold Fear.
I've never even heard of that.
It came out the same year as Resident Evil 4 in 2005, and it had over-the-shoulder aiming mechanics.
Okay.
And it's a survival horror game made by Ubisoft. And apparently it's really good. And I want to pick it up, but it's just...
Man, how the mighty have fallen, right?
Oh, dude, yeah. No shit, huh?
I mean, dude, if you
I
told
kind of
me...
want them to fail at this point. Like, I heard they're not doing well at all.
Well, okay, let's chat about it, because Ubisoft in general is one thing, because they have been producing a bunch of shit. Like, if you told me Assassin's Creed, Shadow, was
the
decent,
Japanese one, yeah.
I wouldn't be entirely surprised. There have been things about it that I've seen that I'm like, okay, I could somewhat get behind that. But, the politics behind it is just a completely different story. On top of that, I feel like, and I had this thought earlier in the day with AAA development. I understand with AAA developing that they need to make these bigger games to warrant their entire staff. Essentially, because they have so much going into the development process between money and like resources and literally just everything, that they need each and every game that they pump out to be a banger to pay their fucking staff in prep for the next game.
Right. It has to make profit. Otherwise, it's a huge loss, especially in today's day and age, how expensive they are.
But I was thinking, it's just like, dude, I would like if AAA developers just reeled back a little bit, made something more akin to like an indie project. Is like, oh, hey, like, we're going to put some love into this for sure, but like, it doesn't need to be like, allocate a little bit of your team to like a little side indie style project. And
yeah.
Just like, cause dude, like Balatro got fucking nominated for Game of the Year. That just proves that a game like that can be extremely successful. Come here.
100%.
Does every game need to be a banger? I don't think so.
Or does every game need to have that much money put into it?
I also don't think so. I mean, we've developed games long before the age of like, oh, this needs to be the most revolutionary fucking game in the industry right now. so we can afford to have the team that we do. Like, and like surely along the years of game development, you've learned some tricks of the trade to like make cost-effective games, but you're just electing not to.
100%. It's like they're so wealthy on their budget, but they're creatively bankrupt.
Cause like they're like, oh, like, you know, we put $50,000 or 50. I don't know what development costs these days. We put $50,000 and we made $100,000. So if we put $100,000 in this game, surely it'll make like 300, right? I'm just like, but you can't always bank on that.
I wonder how much of that is the decision of the developer, or how much of that is a decision of the publisher that's giving them the money. They're like, yeah, we know you guys want to make this kind of game. See, if I were them, though, I don't know about that. If I were them, I'd pitch it to them like, okay, this budget you're going to give us to make this one game, how about we make 3 smaller games with that same exact budget?
Most definitely.
You get what I mean? And then how would that not be like a profit? And just be like, I mean, it would just be kind of shitty, because then you'd be like, we're going to sell it full price. Well, okay. You know, because then it's like we're going to turn something I would sell $70 one game into, you know, 3 games for the same price. Like, is that good or is that bad? You know, I guess it depends on the quality of the game, right?
Well, I also think it depends on your standing as a developer currently, because with Ubisoft, no one would fucking trust it. But maybe with a developer like Capcom, it's like, oh, Capcom has built up enough goodwill.
They're the only developer right now that I've
and Sucker Punch.
Yeah, they're the only developer I've read recently that is like above the marginal in stock market value. I believe it. Like every other company is crashing, you know.
Is Sucker Punch not doing well?
No, I think they're doing well, but it's
Capcom is so well off.
You gotta think Capcom. Not only are they a developer, but they're also a publisher.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, so let's say Bethesda.
Did he say the first or last name?
I don't know. I was busy thinking about developers. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think I got this. Sorry. Occasionally, I'm going to break up a conversation.
No, you were A-okay.
Right, cool. So, what were you just saying?
Is Bethesda not doing well?
They weren't for a while.
Dude, me too.
My Cheetos in the back.
Is it time to go home yet?
He's not a zombie. He's just hungover, and I shoot him.
Dude, when I'm hungover, I wish someone would shoot me. Holy shit.
GRM, I think. But shit. What were you just saying?
Bethesda.
Yeah. So they were not doing, or no, it'd be MRG. They were not doing good for a while there, because you know, like, Fallout 76 was a huge fucking failure when that launched. Remember how big of a deal that was? It was a fucking broken mess. And then Starfield, people did not really like Starfield either.
The aftermath of 76, because I think, especially with the Fallout show, I mean, and you have to imagine they probably got a good little paycheck from getting that on whatever stream, Amazon, right?
Yeah, but that's why they're kind of getting back in not good standing, because they still have to make a really good game,
starting to break even probably.
Yeah, they're not doing bad, but I don't know. But basically, I think the thing that's gonna make or break Bethesda is Elder Scrolls 6, dude. I really think that.
But once again, like, I'm kind of the mind where it's just like, okay, you're so like, people know what to expect when there's a Bethesda game. Like, you kind of know how the game's going to feel. You kind of know how it's going to play. Like, break outside the mold. Just throw, like, a little, like, side project where you don't have to commit a ton of resources to, but you can make something interesting. Like, and we're not in an age where we're going for visual fidelity in games anyways, because we peaked at 2015, frankly. Games have not looked much better, if at all better.
Yeah.
And in some ways look worse. So it's just like, okay, you don't need to focus on something like being the most innovative game visually. You can focus on gameplay, mechanics, narrative, like just the thing, and just deliver a type package. And because you have this reputation behind you as a solid developer and or publisher, people are probably gonna buy it. So that's just where, like, I'm at mentally. I mean, give it a chance. But no, yeah, like AAA companies are like, we need to fucking make the next Last of Us or whatever it may be.
Right. They just it's trend chasing. Like literally, you know, like it's just everyone's just like, oh, what's Fortnite doing? Like look at Call of Duty now, you know? It's like Call of Duty has these like ridiculous collaborations and skins in their game because that's what Fortnite's doing, and Fortnite's making a fucking, you know, a shit ton of money.
Well, what's the end goal for these developers? Like, is it to get like a movie deal and have them? Because like so many developers are trying to like they're taking the narrative path. I mean, a lot of developers now are electing to like have that paid service, the what is it called, live
service games.
Yeah, so many developers are going that route, but there's still just as many developers that are like, oh yeah, like I'm looking to create I'm looking to be Shinji Mikami or whatever.
Yeah, that was the thing that was scaring me for a while there, between like I would say 2016 to 2019, like that period of time right there. Is, you got to remember, that was like the loot box era of games, where every multiplayer had these loot boxes that you would spend real money on in hopes that you would get a gun that would be game breaking. Literally, that was how it was for a while. And now they changed it to battle passes. But at that point, that started to worry me because I don't think we got that many single player games to drop that year. So I was really worried that developers were going to be like, yeah, but single player games aren't profitable. I'm like, dude, I'm a single player gamer. I'm like, you're totally fucking me out of like my own hobby because you don't think you can make enough money off me. So to see like, you know, the success of a game like this during that era, 2019, Resident Evil 2, that was like holy shit, like that was a close one. Because if this wasn't a success in games like this, like think about Jedi Fallen Order, huge success. That was EA. If that flopped, you think they'd even remotely consider Dead Space remake or Jedi Survivor or any other single player game? It's like, if those games did not make a profit, dude, we would not be privileged to have the games we do now, which is scary to think, you know.
Well, the big like counter to that would be, one, of course, FromSoft, and then whoever develops the God of War games,
Sony Santa Monica.
Because like they are proof that single player content can be a resounding success. From Software's like electing to take the route of like a multiplayer game, which we've talked about in the Demon Souls video. If you guys haven't checked that out, that video is an absolute banger. Always apprehensive when Miyazaki's not overseeing, but I mean, there's people that were playtesting the game, you know, I heard good things, but that kind of, and this should be saved for a Demon Souls video, but multiplayer is not what's special about the From Software games for me.
No, I agree.
It's getting like immersed in the world, like it's not like, oh hey boys, where are we dropping? Like it's just like, let me get richly engrossed in this fucking clusterfuck of a world.
Weirdly enough, those games remind me of these games in that way. Where it's like, just like how you can get lost in a game and it's really like, you can get really, like, it can get really intense depending on how you approach a boss. I would say the same thing with these games. It really depends on how you approach these games. If you just sit here and, you know, shoot a shit ton of bullets into this guy, you're not going to have those bullets later. Like, and I think they're similar in that way. They're not obviously the same genre, but they kind of give me the same feeling when I play.
You could draw parallels.
Demon Souls.
Yeah. Is that something you're still going to play?
Even though... I plan on getting through Demon Souls. There's a zombie in here.
Yeah, I remember that. He fucking freaked me out when
he scared the shit out of me the first time I played it.